Alright, I'm going to be going over what I think are the 5 best transitional fossil species. So first is Maiacetus, which is a legged whale. It lives in the Eocene period. It's known from 2 specimens, mostly complete specimens. One of them even had a fetus in it, a fossilized fetus. Its skull, what makes it special is that its skull is basically that of a Basilosaurus grafted on to a legged animal. So, the next one is Pezosiren. It has the skull and rib structure of a manatee, yet it has 4 well-developed limbs, obviously unlike a modern manatee. Next one is Acanthostega. Which was a fish/tetrapod with 8 digits, well-developed arms, but 8 digits on its hand, an intermediate fin hand, and it still had fin rays in its tail. It still had internal gills. It was still technically a fish, but it looked and was beginning to become very much like a tetrapod. The next one is Utyrannus. While this isn't technically an ancestor to modern birds, it's more of a cousin. It still illustrates the evolution going on from theropod to bird, which technically birds are still theropods, but anyway. It had 8-inch filamentous feathers, and it's known from 3 specimens, all of which had feather impressions on it, on some section of it. So you can't really argue these are collagen fibers. They're too long, and on 3 different specimens, that's just unlikely. It was a 30-foot animal, and it would have very likely eaten you if it had the chance. The next one are the Australopithecus species. I'm grouping them all together just to illustrate it the best. The most famous example is Lucy. But the most complete example is a fossil called Littlefoot, which is mostly complete. It's not clear what species it belongs to. It may have been the same species as Lucy, but they're not 100% sure. They had the hip, knee, femur, and foot structure that indicates they were bipedal. They had an S-shaped spine, like ours, instead of an arch-shaped spine, like a chimp's. That indicates they're bipedal again. They had a larger brain than a chimp, but smaller than a human, so they were transitional in pretty much every imaginable way. And that's why they get attacked so frequently by creationists. So those are what I think are the 5 best transitional species. There are hundreds more that are probably equally as good, but these are the 5 that stand out to me.